My people, what up, though? We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief.
My name is Prentice. Oh, I don't know how that. I thought I went second last time.
Hey, and I'm Bell. I'm Bell, y'all.
You fucking up all over the place. You know what the fuck it is.
Prentice, Don Juan Powell. Yo, we want to apologize. We had a whole thorough episode discussion, got it all out the way, and Bell never pressed record, so we never had a chance to edit and get it up for you. So we recording on the fly tonight. But we thankful y'all still here.
I promise y'all that Chief is in charge of recording. Right? He had one job, ladies and gentlemen.
One job.
Talking about, I pulled it up. It said it only recorded for 2 seconds. No, you hit the record button at the end. That's why I recorded for 2 seconds.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. Anyways, fellas, what's good? Check in. P, what's up? How the sympathetic pregnancy going?
Man, today no nausea, but I'm kicking. I'm working, but I'm good. I'm good today.
Bellhead, what's up? How's the Boston life, man? How was the birthday, fam? You had a birthday last week. You missed the episode.
I appreciate it. It was good, man. Last week, the wife and I, we had our first sit-down dinner here in Boston, which was cool. So that was cool. Then her birthday was a few days later, so we went to this brewery, which is dangerous because we walked to that joint. So it was that close, you know what I'm saying? And then went to this real nice Italian restaurant on the North End. And apparently, I just found this out, like the North End has the highest concentration of Italian restaurants in like the country or something like that. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
So y'all got like a little Italy out there, P, in Oakland?
In Frisco, they got one. They got a little Italy in Frisco. I mean, it ain't nothing major to me. I mean, I've been there probably once or twice in my life.
We got Franklin Ave.
We're out there in Connecticut.
Yeah, one street.
Yo, but wait, real quick. So Prentice, Frisco is short for San Francisco, right?
That is correct. For those of you who are not from the Bay, Frisco is San Francisco, or the city. If you hear somebody from the Bay reference the city, they're talking about Frisco. Now we never say San Francisco.
Got you.
Yeah.
Now, why do y'all refer to San Francisco as the city? Oakland's a big city too.
Oakland is. Now, you know what? I don't know the size, but a lot of people think San Francisco is really, really, really huge. It's not the largest city in the Bay. San Jose is actually the largest city in the Bay Area.
Really?
Yeah. San Jose is huge. I don't know why it's called the city. I'm not from there, so I don't really pick up on their history. I just know it's referenced as the city of Frisco. Now, if you want to talk about the town, aka Oakland, California, I can tell you a few things about that.
Why they call y'all the town? Because I heard that before too.
I think it came from the reference of Oakland being Oaktown. So it went from Oaktown in the 80s to the town in the 90s.
Got you. Is Oakland bigger than San Fran?
Nah.
Okay. So it's still smaller. So I get it.
Well, Oakland's large too. Oh, actually, I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna know.
Oh no, I'm just saying in comparison. So like up here, like up north, right? Like we live in Connecticut. So when we say we're going to the city, we talking about New York.
Yeah.
New York City, right?
Yeah.
But people who live in New York, they refer to the city as Manhattan. Right. So
Manhattan a borough?
Manhattan is a borough, yeah.
Right.
So Manhattan is where Times Square is, or all the glitz and glam is out there. So I'll be out there, like I'll be in Brooklyn, they'll be like, yeah, we're about to go to the city. And like for me, I was like, yeah, I'm in the city, right? Like no, Manhattan, right? So and same like, and it's similar like my family in Florida, right? They'd be like, hey, we about to go down south, cuz I'm like, nigga, it don't get no further south than Florida. Like, where you going? But they refer to down south as Miami. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
them live in Ghouls.
I'm like, down south, bro. You are down south, right? So anyway, those little nuances. I'm always curious about stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I'm good. Thanks for asking.
Hey, how you doing, G?
Black fuckers. I'm good, man. Just going through the motions at work. My kids are healthy, and I can't complain about much. Really, I'm taking care of my body now, trying to get right. I'm feeling good.
How's the cleanse going? I meant to ask you.
Good. Yo,
Yeah?
I'm. Listen, I might not wear a shirt in the vineyard this year, the whole week.
You ain't gonna be in the vineyard, Mac wedding during that time.
Oh, true. So I might not wear a shirt to the wedding. I'm gonna paint the tie on.
What type of cleanse you on?
Just a 10-day cleanse. Just trying to get my body right.
It's just some supplements and basically protein and vegetables. Like no cheese, like you can eat carbs, but like brown rice and stuff like that.
Yeah, I went on a cleanse once on accident. She was not cool, bro. It was not okay.
Yo, Prentice, I feel like you got a lot of accidents, man. That
I got. You know what? We should create a segment, but like once a month, Apprentice story. I got stories. So check.
Listen, we got the hot seat episode, man. That's coming soon.
That's gonna be embarrassing.
We also got that concept, Chief. We had talked about shit we can't talk about.
Right. That's another episode.
That's another episode. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Check it, bud. So I be hella greedy. I don't really like. I don't like water too much. I drink it, but I don't like water. So I used to need soda. I don't drink soda no more. But I need my juices and my beverages. Like I it's a must have in my life. So this was years and years ago. I was at my house. I was thirsty, but all we had was water. I don't want no motherfucking water to drink. I need a soda, a juice, or something, So I looked in the drawer and there was these tea bags. So I was like, yo, these tea bags is right here. There's a picture in the cabinet. I'ma just make me some sweet tea. So I got like 10 tea bags because I like my shit strong, but got some hot water.
You like strong tea. What the what?
I like flavor, but I don't. If it's not dark, if I can put my spoon in the tea and still see my spoon, it's not tea enough. I need another bag.
Tea enough. You got it. Go ahead. Anyways.
Don't judge me, bro. All right, so I got like 10 tea bags. I was like, this is about to be smacking. I remember it was summertime, so it was hella hot. Put that hella sugar in it, put it in the refrigerator, but let it sit in there for like 3 hours. And killed it in probably like 10 minutes, the whole pitcher. One of the best sweet teas I've ever had that I made. So I go to bed, wake up, probably around 3:34, and bud, I don't know what my stomach was doing, but it was doing shit that just wasn't cool. I was on the toilet forever. And so the whole day goes by, but like it's 4:00 and I'm still running back to the toilet. So by 4, it's been a whole 12 hours. By 4, I'm like, yo, I'm on the toilet, like stressing, but like, why am I shitting so much? Like, I don't know what's going on in my body, but like, I'm just on the toilet all day, and I can't figure it out. So finally, the person I was in a relationship at the time, she was like, yo, what's wrong with you? I was like, I don't know. She was like, what did you eat yesterday? I was like, I just had this, and that, and some sweet tea. That's all I drank. I ain't really drink no water. So she was like, wait, sweet tea? We ain't got no sweet tea. I was like, yeah, I just went into the drawer and got the bags and made some sweet tea. We got sweet tea. She was like, yo, those are dietary supplement like teas, like the laxative teas. So I had used 10 laxative teas for sweet tea, but I was shitting for like 3 days, but uncomfortable.
I was about to say, man, I'm surprised you ain't have to get an IV. You don't drink water.
Honestly, I probably should have went to the doctor because I was bad by the next day, bro. Like there was nothing left in my body and shit was still coming out. It was all bad. Sorry if that's too much for y'all, but it was fucked up.
Nah,
out here looking like Pookie from New Jack. Lost all that damn weight.
I was struggling real bad. But yeah, I don't know how we got there, but yeah, that's my speech.
No, we bros, we can have that conversation, but since we talking about being bros and whatnot, that's the topic of tonight's episode. I guess the bro code.
This disclaimer, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't what we record. This isn't what we talked about last night.
At all
recorded. So we decided to. Our conversations, if you haven't picked up on, are truly organic and authentic. And we didn't want to try to recreate last night's episode. So we're going to push that out for some time and revisit it. But we got to talking, we hopped on like what we're going to talk about, because typically they're written. And we were like, some topics came up and we're like, you know what, that's not a bad idea. So this is going to be really authentic, because it's not, we didn't type this up or anything like that. I actually contemplated, fellas, just going on live and having this conversation, but I never said anything to y'all. But we here now, so we might as well go ahead and record it.
Right.
Chief, what you watching, bro? What you watching? What
are
you
doing? Plan. I'm about to turn it off. I don't even know why I'm doing that. We got to plan one of them joints, yo. Anyways, so I'll be like, I'm shuffling through social media and I'm seeing like, yo, you need to do a better job with your friends. Like, can you? One of the thing I saw recently was like, do you trust your man or your friend at home with your significant other? And it's just like, yeah, like I don't have that problem at all. You know what I'm saying? But it's some people like, nah, I would never. I'm reading the comments like, nah, I would never leave my lady home with my guy and blah 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 blah. And it's like, you need better friends then, cuz, you know what I'm saying? Or a better spouse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy to me. So let's start there in terms of like, just, are you guys comfortable? Like, you obviously know who you can and can't, or who you can and cannot trust around your people, but like,
yo, check this out, yo. Check this out. Like, at our age, if I can only bring you certain places, we don't need to be friends. Like, I'm just being honest, yo. Like, I'm being honest. Like if I can't bring you around my lady or my kids, what value are you bringing to my life, bro? Like,
it makes a great point. I'm just saying, I'm just shuffling through and I'm looking at these arguments people are having. It's just like, yo, that's just like, y'all need better friends. Like, you need better friends.
Now, what I will say is, God rest the dead, my old basketball coach, Marco Villa, he's Puerto Rican, right? And there's certain things that are cultural. So like, one thing that he was really big on is, regardless of what the relationship is, I'll never forget, it was one day we was going to his brother's house, and or I had to drop something. I don't remember what the scenario was exactly, but his wife was home alone, and like what he believed and like how he was raised, that's probably a better way to say it, how he was raised is, no man should be in the house with your wife, period, no matter who they are, right? But that's more of a, that's not because he didn't trust me or whoever, but that was how he was raised. You know what I'm saying? So more like a learned behavior.
Right. Again, a cultural thing versus
it was more cultural than anything. Yeah, exactly. So I guess there's that, right? So that's why I said that, because I didn't see the post or even read the comments, obviously, but there may be people responding from that space.
Oh, true.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know different cultures have different nuanced things, right? Like, that you can and can't do. So some of it may be that. And then as a result, it gets passed down generation after generation. And then maybe the people who are responding, they may not even know the origins of it. That's just what they've been doing. You know what I'm saying? So like, it may not be anything to do with their friends potentially, but it's just how it just is what they stand on.
That could be it too. I just think a lot when I see stuff like that, I just think of the friendships I have. And like I trust my guys. The immediates like no other. So there's never a reservation when it comes to anything regarding trust, ever, with my guys. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. When I see stuff like that, it just pisses me off. Like, I'm like, cats just don't have real friends. That's always my thoughts.
Yeah. My trust level is shifted with some of mine. Like, in that sense, like the ones I think about I'm closest, it's shifted on certain levels when it comes to women because of things that have happened throughout the years. You know what I'm saying? So there are friends that I have that none of them I don't trust around my girl, but they've done sucker shit when it comes to girls I've had in the past. So it's not about actually, I don't know. The idea of, can I trust them around her? I mean, I can trust that ain't nothing gonna pop off because I trust her. And I trust that they wouldn't do that while I was with her. Now, after, I think that's another story.
See, I don't agree with that, man. Like
you don't agree with what the after?
The after.
I don't either. I don't either. But I know it's happened. It's happened to me. You know what I'm saying? So I know they will if it's after the fact because it's happened. But to me, I've always felt like I can't slide with I can't slide with a woman. One of my niggas done already like it just don't. I don't know. Maybe it don't feel right to me. You know what I mean? Like that's territory that just I have no.
We got a code where it's like certain girls are off limits.
Yeah.
Certain women like from our past are off limits, right? And it's understood, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't like it's understood, you know what I'm saying? So it's like nobody's gonna ever my immediates, right? Like we talked about that before in earlier episodes. What that means is just like immediate family, my immediate friends, all right? Like so they understand like it's nothing to talk about. But I will say there's some like peripheral relationships that I have that quite frankly, I don't expect them not to, right? Because we're not there from a like we're friends, we're cool, but I don't expect them to not pursue something of mine or previously, right? But I don't know. I don't agree with the whole. I just heard a story the other day. I was talking to one of my boys and I found out that like his ex-wife married her friend's ex-husband or is dating her friend's ex-husband or something crazy like that or excuse me, my bad. He was telling me a story about one of his boys dating one of his boy's best friend's ex-wife, right? And I'm like, what? Like
seriously dating?
Like live together.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm like, bruh, you got it. Like you got it. Like I don't know. Like and allegedly, them dudes were like best friends.
That's wild.
So I question that then, right? Like I question that level of friendship. But we kind of going off topic a little bit. But the code that our peer, my circle stands by, it's like we just understand that certain people are off limits. Now, if there's somebody that's gray, right? If it's somebody that's gray, you have a conversation. That's it.
The check-in is where a lot of relationships get broken because of the lack of
when they get strengthened.
True.
Wait, elaborate on that. I'm curious. What you mean when
they get strengthened?
Yeah.
So if a homie taps in like, yo, I've seen Shorty on your page. I know you know homegirl. I know you got history, or I'm checking in to see if you do, because look, your boy is trying to see what's up with her. I just want to know if it's good. You know what I mean? Like it's those type of.
Oh, I see. Like the respect.
The respect level. Like I respect you enough to make sure that we're transparent with each other on our intentions with somebody you're associated with. You know, my intentions on somebody you're associated with.
Yeah,
and that's really respectful to me. Like I think that's what friends should do if it goes there. You know what I'm saying?
Character thing. So the fellas and I had this conversation a while ago via text, P, and it was, correct me if I'm wrong, Bell. It was, if I see your girl out with another dude and it presents as she's cheating, do you want me to tell you? That was the question, right?
Yeah.
What?
Am I?
It was like, yeah. Do you want me to tell you? Yeah. It was. Do you want me to tell you?
Do I feel obligated to tell you? Like, do you want me to tell you?
I feel like it was like, what would you like me to do? Oh,
okay. How do you want me to respond?
Yeah. That's what I think it was. Yeah, that's what I think it was. Like, how do you want me to respond? Because you know you're gonna tell them, right? It's like, how do you want me to respond?
I think that's what it was. So like, I'm like, it depends on the dynamics of the relationship. But obviously, Bell, you're married. I see your wife out with another dude, and it looks suspicious. I'm pulling up. My man's. Who the fuck is you?
Hey, but I don't think I pull up immediately. You know what I think I do? If I saw your girl, Chief, if I saw your girl out with another nigga, I'm not pulling up first, but first I'm trying to figure out how I can immobilize the vehicle until you get there. So we can figure out how I'm a vindictive motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm calculating. We need to figure out how we can do this best. So let me figure out how I can make sure they don't leave this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Until you get here, we figure out, yo, what's the play?
I think my impulse says, like I sit back and go, okay, before I jump the gun, let me dissect this real quick. Let me check. Let me check it. Okay, this bitch is definitely cheating. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, yo, my man's, who the fuck is you? And like, am I supposed to beat him up? Or like, am I supposed to just like let
it? So that's where the conversation went. And that's where a lot of us was like, yo, it's not dude's fault, right? Like it's not his fault.
So context, you need context. Context.
Nah, man. Like, so just hear me out, P, right?
I'm listening.
So my thing is this, bro. If we're gonna be real, let's be real. Every single one of us that slept with somebody's girl, messed with somebody's girl. That's a fact. I'm positive, right? Or not one of our friends, but like somebody who's dealing with somebody or in a relationship.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not one of our friends. No, like somebody we
don't sleep with somebody else's girl.
Yeah, right. So I look at it like this, right? Like that's the game I chose to play at that time, right? I can't get mad at somebody for playing that same game, and on top of that. Home don't owe me nothing.
Right.
Old boy don't owe me nothing. Right. So what I said was, because Chief and I had a different response, because what I said was, I'm like, I'm gonna take a picture so you see what's happening. And I'm gonna basically follow your lead. Right. Like however you want me to intervene, I'm gonna intervene. And what we said was, what I said was, something to the effect of what you said, Prentice, like just do what you can to keep them there till I get there, right? And then what I did say, though it's not old boy's fault, right? What I said was, I'm gonna be so angry. Now, not my wife, that's a whole different story, but like somebody I'm dating, like a serious relationship, I'm gonna be so angry that the way I'm gonna address her is gonna spark him to defend her.
Yeah.
Right, like that's
gotta be in the DNA.
But that's the thing. So it's like, now I'm not going to make a scene or nothing like that, but I'm gonna make it known that I'm not happy with this situation, and almost attempt to provoke him just so I could release some anger, right? Like that. But I've been in those situations, right, where I tried to I'm like, look, man, I'm not getting involved in that, basically. Like he ain't gonna, as long as he don't put his hands on you, I'm not gonna get involved in that. If y'all bickering back and forth, like I'm out, right? So that to me is out of respect for the game at that time. Okay. So for me, it's like he should have that same respect for the game. If he has feelings for her, right, and they show up, then I'm gonna show him why they shouldn't be present, right? That was my whole thing. Now I've never been in a situation where one of the homies caught anybody, whatever, or I've never been in a situation where I've caught one of the homies' girls. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really know exactly how I handle it, but in my head, that's how I would handle it.
I think for me, the initial, and again, I'm a lot more calculated now than I was back then. But I think my initial response would be to attack dude. But then I like
really
I get I'm saying just in terms of like not physically, but like just go at him first. But
yeah, no, that's surprising.
I think I honestly like Pete. I bullshit you not. Ready? I'm so protective of my guys that I don't even let chicks talk. Like you can't get a word out. And I'll give you a prime example. I'm talking to Shorty a while ago about the podcast. I'm like, and it was we recorded late one night. And I'm telling her, like, yeah, I'm up just doing this podcast. This nigga, we recorded too late tonight. And she's like, they got you doing it by yourself? I'm like, yeah, but this is just what I do. And then she's like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything because I know how you feel about your friends. Like she knew not even to say like, oh, that you should get them to do something or don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? So she knew what it was. In this case, so if I caught Shorty out there like cheating, it's like, yo, how you go? Do you know that's my dude? Like I'm so protective of my guys. Like you gotta check her. And like Bell said, you gotta check her, and then hope dude say something slick, and then he
clap fire at his ass.
Right, exactly.
I'm so calculated, bro. I would dismantle something, wait, put, bro.
Now you saying for the homies girl, not
Prentice going outside taking a tire off the car. Like, now you can't go nowhere because I got the tire in the trunk.
Yeah, we on that type of time. Them keys disappear, something, but you know, the card, the debit card disappears, so you can't pay for the food. Got to figure that shit out. Something.
Prentice drive around with the red valet jacket in the trunk just in case, you know.
Hey, man,
pull up and disappear the keys. Yeah, that's so. I know that we talked about two different scenarios, right? Like one. When does it? So, with the two scenarios were, do you talk to the homie's ex, right? And then the other scenario is when you see the homie's current girl in what appears to be a cheating situation, right? How do you handle it? My question is this: when does the guy code apply?
In terms of just in general, or like?
Yeah, when does it apply?
I think we live in it.
Yeah, I think you do live in it, but it's an integrity check for men. Like when a situation arises where if you have to think like, should I say something to my man, or will my guy be upset about it, or is this right? The guy code instantly comes into effect, and you do what you feel is necessary to protect or to stand by the code.
Mm-hmm. You agree? Yeah, you stand right next to it. I think it's always something you evaluate. Some things are just a given because it's part of your principal character. You know what I mean? And other ones you got to kind of give a little bit more thought to.
So, yo, you know what me and Aus was talking about the other day, Chief? That I think is a prime example of that. So God rest the dead, my man Groove. Groove lived by the guy code. I'm gonna give you some scenarios, Chief, that will. So Groove is this dude who passed away a year ago. A year ago. From around the way. And Groove was this dude, man, ladies, man, always got good looking girls. Like that's just what he did. And but Groove was a live wire, you know what I'm saying? So like for a long time, me and Groove, we didn't really have a relationship. And for a long time, it was like, how is this going to go? And then we ended up being really, really cool, right? One thing I'll give to him, he lived by the guy code in a sense where during that time where we didn't know, like we didn't really have a relationship and it was touch and go. There was a situation with one of my immediates that they was dealing with the same girl. And again, the relationship ain't that strong with us and Groove at that time, but Groove on some like guy code shit was like, listen, just so you know, like I'm not telling you to stop messing with her. I'm just telling you I'm still messing with her. And I'm cool if you keep messing with her, but I just don't want you pillow talking, falling in love because I'm still messing with her. You know what I'm saying? So
when you kiss her in the mouth.
Yeah, like so, and it was like I'm not trying to stop your flow. I'm just letting you know what's happening. You know what I'm saying?
So essentially what I'm saying, nigga, when you taste the lips, you taste me. How hard that's what he's telling her, bro. Let's keep it real. That's what he's telling her.
No, but the crazy thing is, right? At the time, I didn't know how to take it. When I found out about, I didn't know if he was trying to stunt or if he was really just coming from a genuine place.
Right.
And until it happened again. You know what I'm saying? It happened again with somebody else I knew. And again, he went to my other immediate and was like, yo, he saw the situation. He's like, yo, just tell your cousin, like, I know he's dealing with her, but like, listen, y'all mean. So,
you know what I'm saying, I mean.
And again, same thing. He's like, yo, I'm not telling him to stop.
But it's like a skit at this point.
I'm just letting you know to let him know that this is what it is, right? So he don't get caught up. So like I think about that, right? I think about like that is like that's some genuine guy code shit, right? And I think for him it's guy code, the fact we're from the same place, right? And I'm a big proponent of don't have me out here looking like no sucker.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's my thing. And I think that's what he was trying to avoid for any of us on our side. You know what I'm saying? In our camp.
We've been talking about the guy code, but does the guy code, I mean, when I think of guy code, I just think of the rules of the game. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to dealing with these women or whatever. Now, my question is, again, let's get back to when it applies, but outside of interactions with women, like what other standards fall into that guy code? Like what else are we
I think as a blanket, you put your man above whatever the circumstances are.
Yep.
Like that's the blanket, right? Like whether it's almost like swing first, ask questions last, right? He could be wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just be clear. You know what I'm saying? He can be wrong, but when the guy code is activated, it doesn't matter, right? You have to protect him in that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead, keep talking.
What came to my mind was the Kevin Hart thing. When he was like, your man called you, and the code word is I'm hungry as hell or something like that. When he was like, what the bitch is that? That one. But you know,
I think it applies. It applies in a lot of different ways, man. I'm thinking like guy code with shit like, you know, seeing somebody get caught up or addressing something to a homie. I feel like that code, for me at least, it comes with a sense of urgency to it. You know what I'm saying? Like when things happen, I feel like part of the guy code is address it immediately. Like, hey, so check this out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really try to give it too much thought, because I'd rather just get it out into them before I start perseverating on the thought myself and thinking too hard about it.
What? Give me some context. I'm a little confused.
All right, I'll give you a perfect example, man. And it's two different ways. I've had a situation where a homie of mine, a good friend, was talking to a similar situation as group, talking to a girl that I was smashing. And rather than ask myself and go back and forth, like, should I let him know or should I not? I immediately was like, hey, bro, I just heard that you have an interest with, so very similar, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it was kind of like, I wasn't still smashing. I was kind of like, you don't want to do it, but I just, you don't want to do it, stay away. So I had a sense of urgency because I just wanted to address it off top, not have some information, know something that he's not privy to. So I wanted to just get it out the way.
But that's the case in point, putting him above the situation.
Yeah, but sometimes.
And I was going to say, it happens different ways too. I just had a situation where somebody brought something to my attention about a guy that I know and that I've been cool with over the years. And it was of like a confrontational nature. And it totally threw me off, totally took me off guard. But my immediate reaction was to address it. And I feel like, you know, like there's nothing I need to sit on with this. If somebody looking for me or trying to see me about something, and I'm not aware, or we're clearly not on the same wavelength, I need to figure out what's going on. So I immediately reached out to the individual to address it. So I feel like guy code comes with this urgency where you don't really sit, ponder, dissect, and kind of pre-plan before you present it. I know for me, I kind of just, I'm right to it.
So here's where some dudes don't understand the code, the ethics of the game. In terms of like doing what you just did, P, and you holler at your homie and say, listen, man, you don't want to go that route for whatever reason the case may be.
Right.
He doesn't take the note and goes, nah, this cat just hating. This nigga's just hating on me right now. You know what I'm saying? And they don't take that message.
Well, in give a little more context, she did start bawling up crying once we got back up to her house because she wasn't over her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend. And it was a situation where it's really weird. You know what I'm saying? Like it was something wasn't right up there. So I was like really like, yo, bro, you don't want to do it. Now he has enough integrity to know not to deal with a woman who pulled the story I shared with him.
But Chief,
yeah,
you did your part.
Right. Okay. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's the thing. Like you did your part. So
it's an integrity check.
So I'll give you an example of this. Right? Situation. I'm in college. My man, you know what I'm saying? He messed with this chick for a very short period of time, but for the sake of argument, let's just say it was for a semester, right? I didn't know who she was, you know what I'm saying? I heard the name, I couldn't pick her out of a lineup. I had no idea who she was, right? She knew who I was, but I didn't know who she was. So we out one night, I'm out with my cousins or whatever. The chick, essentially she bagged me, right? Like we was talking and she like, you know, she told me her name and I'm like, and she's like, yeah, I go to UConn. I'm like, and then she was like, she repeated her name and then looked at me. I'm like, oh, you're such and such, right? So boom, fast forward. I go to my man the next day, Geico, right? They were never an item, right? They was just messing. I went to him like, yo, here's what happened. I'm hands off if you got an issue. Right?
Wait, and that's your man?
It's my man.
Okay.
Right? But it wasn't his girl. They was messing.
Okay.
I'm like, boom, here's the situation. It don't got to go no further than that conversation we had last night. Right? If you have an issue. And his response was, nah, man, we good. Nah, we good. Go, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you sure?
You sure?
Right. You know what I'm saying? He's like, no, man, that ain't about nothing. Man, we good. I'm like, all right. So we end up dealing with each other. Right.
I know where this is going.
And our relationship for years was never the same.
Mm-hmm.
Was never the same. And no, he's never said anything to me about that. You know what I'm saying? And he'll never say anything to me now, whether it's true or it's not true in terms of how I perceived he felt after that. It was different, right? It was different. And then for me, I'm like racking my brain. I'm like, yo, I did all the right things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I got her number, didn't use it before talking to him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, in my opinion, that was the guy code, right? I exhibited the guy code. I don't know that he did because
he did.
I don't know that he did. Here's why I say that. So, and I know what you're going to say. So this is really, I'm very curious because I want to get into this. I don't think he did, right? Because the guy code is this, right? Put your man above, right? Or put the person above. The person he neglected in that situation was himself.
Yep.
Right. So it's like if you got a feeling towards her, and maybe not even towards her, if you just got a feeling about me dealing with her, that's your responsibility to tell me. Right. Now, if I didn't say,
especially after I asked you.
Yeah, if I didn't say anything, that's different. Right. That's shame on me. But I asked. So now it's like somebody told me a long time ago, man, whether you say it or when you feel it, whether you say it or you don't, it's going to come out. So if you feel a way, you might as well just express it. And then this could have been avoided. But I think what happened, and again, it's all speculation, but what I think what happened is he didn't want to appear potentially as he had feelings for somebody that wasn't more serious than what it was on the surface. Right. You know what I'm saying? Or that he felt a way about me moving forward. You know what I'm saying? So
he gave you the shoulders like, nah, you good. And it was sad. But
you already know what it is. When anybody, like, and again, this is just me, right? But anybody who's overzealous with them type of yeah, like that. I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
right.
But at the end of the day, bro, I'm green lit, right? Like I did my part. So and and so wow, I'll take it one step further. Same situation. I end up really liking the girl. You know what I'm saying? Like she was really good people, like super, super good people. And I can see why he maybe, if this is the case, caught feelings for her, right? Like she was a good girl. But here's the guy code again. And this is my opinion. I know, Chief, you don't feel the same about this particular situation, but she wanted to be with me, like be with me for real. And I'm like, yo, I really like this girl. But my man was smashing. Like, I can't make her my girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, but I felt bad because that was the only reason I could give her. I'm like, yo, I just can't. And now that makes her feel like shit because she's like, I was messing with friends. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, but that to me, that's where again I deployed the guy code again, where I'm like, nah. And maybe it's ego, but I'm like, I can't marry or wife up somebody that one of my boys was dealing with. You know what I'm saying? So anyway.
That made me think of I feel like there's a time, well, I think first and foremost, your friend definitely neglected himself. And I think that's because I think a lot of men don't have a true understanding of what guy code means in depth to its core. They look at the surface thinking it means emotionless. Like, go ahead, go do that. Me and some of my closest friends have actually had conversations where I can think of a time where one of my best friends hit me, was like, yo, what's up with so-and-so? And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, are you still, smashing? I was like, oh, no. He was like, well, she hit me, and if you ain't tripping. And I sat there and I was like, you know what, bud? I'm gonna be honest with you. Do you if that's what you want to do? But given the context of my relationship with her, it made me look at her type of way that she's trying to fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, out of all people, you one of my closest homies. I'm not liking how she moving. I'm not tripping if you want to smash, but that just got me looking at her like, so, do your thing. And after that, I don't know whether he did or didn't, but we were fine regardless. But I think what happens is sometimes guy code shuts off. and I'm thinking about my situation. Like, the girl my dude was with was on some sucker shit with her. You know what I mean? And I knew him previously for years. But because I knew the context of their relationship, I didn't feel no obligation to say nothing, even though like we weren't close or nothing like that. But I knew him from around the way. You know what I'm saying?
So we've crossed paths. You saying homie was treating the girl like shit? It made it easy for you to do it?
It made me easier. I think typically at some point in time, maybe if it was a homie who was close enough, even if it was around the way, I may have a certain type of just head nod or, just interaction just to temperature check, maybe. You get what I'm saying? But because I knew his character in detail, because of my association with this woman and her stories and, just being able to piece things together, I looked at him like, I feel like you got to kind of also have a certain amount of integrity about yourself to garnish that respect for people to kind of deal with you that way. You know what I'm saying? Right. And he ain't garnished that respect for me.
Do you think that the women would say it's a double standard in that last situation where you got more upset with the girl for how she was moving than with your homie for how he was moving? Do you think it would be like, oh, why he gonna get mad at the girl, not his homie?
Well, because the girl reached out.
Coming to me with the conversation though. He's doing his job. He's having a conversation with me. You know what I'm saying? So the only reason why I know about this is because my man's talking to me about it.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't think this has happened, but how do you respond? Has Shorty came to you like, hey, listen, Prentice, I know we done, but I want to get at your homie right here.
Hey, I can tell you, because guess what? I got a couple of friends, and I've had, it's crazy how I'm saying friends, but friends who I've had plenty of those conversations.
With women?
Plenty.
With women?
From women with no they didn't want anything from me, honestly, other than to lace me because they knew my relationship with that individual. Because they knew my relationship, they were like, this don't seem right. Yo, your man slid, your man said, you get what I'm saying? So
yeah, I get what you're saying, but that's not what Chief is saying.
Yeah. I'm talking about had Shorty came to you like Prentice, you know, I know we had our dealings and we're done, but I really like your homeboy. I want to give him some. Is that okay with you? Like if the Shorty hits you with the bro code.
Okay. What was that last part?
I said, like, if the Shorty hit you with the bro code.
Honestly, what you going? She doesn't. I wouldn't imagine that she has that value to me though. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm not.
No, same girl, same scenario.
Oh.
Oh, that's different.
That's different.
That's different.
Nah, if not, I mean, you have to game. If you know, that's how I kind of feel. Like if you're not dealing with the woman anymore, anything's a goal realistically. It just matters who it's a goal with and how you feel about it.
So again, referencing that particular situation, had she came to you for the stamp of approval first, how do you respond?
Do your thing. What I'm gonna say? No.
Okay, I'm just saying. Like,
but
okay, but does it reverse now to the homeboy? And you like, nah, I don't like the way he moving. She asked me, he didn't say nothing. Like now you upset with him?
If it's on some deceptive shit, then I am like, bro, what are we doing? And if that's how we move, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So if I'm thinking about my homies, if it's a close friend, then there's gonna be a difference in somebody I know around the way.
No, right. Oh,
relationships matter. You gotta have context of the relationship.
Here's the thing, though, P. We use this. I use the same scenario for a reason because, you know, you said initially you don't like the way she's moving, right? Now, I'm assuming you tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming because there was some level of feelings at some point, right? And you feel like she should have potentially have more respect for you than to try to slide around your back to holler at your homie.
I honestly, you know what? I don't think I would look at it that way, man. I think I look at it as it's all relationships to me. It's the people that I expect more from than the general public. That's what I think that's all it boils down to for me.
So
I expect more from y'all niggas than I do the cat who just tells me he fucks with my poetry or who is just cool with me via the internet.
So what you're saying is when you find that out now, you basically have learned everything you need to know.
I'm saying no. So what I would do if she slid like that and this had been going and I'm finding out from her because of his value to me, I'm gonna be like, yo, bro, she put me onto some information. Just why you didn't tell me? You know what I'm saying? Or like, or in the sense of like, yo, I just have to come to you because it don't feel right now that I know this information from her, but you and I ain't on the same page. You know what I mean? And regardless of how that conversation goes, I can make my decision from there. I may like the way he's moving, the way he's speaking. I may not, and you know, we keep it moving. But it's all about relationships for me. If I'm done with the woman, then I'm really not gonna hold her to the expectation I would my homie.
Does that happen immediately? Like, do you give homie a chance to maybe she beat him to the punch? Like, do you give him a chance to give him some time to say something, or do you like check him as soon as you hear it?
Well, I'm thinking like this. I got a couple of homies that I would get to first because of just how they move, and a couple I would give time to because of how they move. You know what I'm saying? I think there's some over others where you be like, you know what? This nigga may never say nothing. Right. You know? And, right. And this one, he gonna come to me and be $100,000.
So is this part of the code? You know, I got my memes, fellas. It says, my nigga's girlfriend just called me looking for him. I told her he was sleeping on my couch drunk. I said, do you want me to wake him up? She said, he right here. I'm just proving to him that y'all really some lying ass niggas. She said, still in character though. I'm like, well, who the fuck is on my couch then?
All the way through. Until you get totally caught up and you gotta be like, hey yo, my bad. I thought that was this nigga on the couch. I forgot. My cousin came in here yesterday.
You gotta ride, man. You gotta ride, yo.
I'm bold-faced lying with a straight ass face, bro.
My bullshit. It's your bullshit, right?
Hey man, I'm to the wheels fall off type of friend. I'm lying.
Yo, so where else does the guy code apply outside of women?
Saying, like outside
like,
of like
women's easy, right? Like that's easy in terms of riding for your homie to save his relationship, right?
I'll tell you where they fucking up. When they fucking up. When they fucking up. The guy code should always apply when your man is fucking up. When it looks so many different ways. Last summer, there were a couple of times Chief hit me and was like, "Hey, bro, you doing what you're supposed to be doing?" Like based off of conversations we had a couple of weeks ago or a week before, like just like holding me accountable on my shit, but in a loving way. But I get his message. You know what I'm saying? I think Geico comes in a very effective and healthy way when you can hold your people accountable. It has to come in there. When you see him fucking up, when you know he wilding or spiraling or dabbling too much in this arena where he should be focusing more on this arena, and you know that. You know what I'm saying? And you know your man, and you know his patterns or habits, and you want to see him to get better. I think Geico comes in however you got to do it, but you have that conversation, man, that check-in, that temperature check, or let them know, yo, you fucking up right now, bro.
Yeah.
And that's love, man.
Yeah, now it goes back. I mean, that also has to do with the people you have around you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like, you know, we had talked about it yesterday. It's like, you got to have a solid foundation, right? So maybe that's a disclaimer. Maybe you guys tell me if I'm wrong. I'm just, you know, thinking out loud here. Maybe a disclaimer is like guy code can only be deployed when you have solid guys, right? Because and this that's very subjective, obviously, right? But like if you think about like the foundation on which they built on, right? So if you got a guy that's narcissistic, out for himself, you know, whatever, like maybe that's a question. Does the guy code apply to that? So boom, right? I'll give you a scenario. You got a dude, y'all cool, right? You ain't going to his house, he ain't coming to your house. Y'all cool though, right? But you know what he's built on, right? He's out for self, he's whatever. You get wind of a situation. Let's just say it's a situation with him and his girl, right? Just for argument's sake. Do you bring that to his attention? Right? Because wait. Because the reason why I asked, because you know he wouldn't do that for you.
I think those principles lie on more of two things. Respect, as in whether or not you actually respect this person.
Fair.
And two, your own personal integrity. Like if it's fucking with you to a point where you like, yo, I should probably say something because this is bothering me, then that's when you should do it. But if you don't respect this person, like I don't give a damn about homie. Like I don't, you know what I mean? He is who he is, but I still don't respect him. Like even with that person being narcissistic and selfish, you can still kind of respect who he is. Because
no, without question. My question is this. Another question. You got to do, y'all cool, but you know he's just grimy. Y'all cool for what y'all cool for. Actually, I'm not gonna ask that question, but what I was gonna say is, if it's a situation where you knew he would do it to you, I answer my own question. We could probably edit this, but I answer my own question because it's like what you would do and what I would do are two different things.
Yeah.
Again, that's integrity.
Yeah,
and it's a respect thing. You know.
Yeah, I think that's a good point though, Chief. The respect thing, right?
And I also think like it's to me it's lame to do something that's motivated by some other nigga. To me, man.
Oh, that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't, and I gotta like the sucker niggas I know who do hating ass shit. They do shit like that to me. You know what I mean? Like niggas who you know like a chick a dude that you know used to fuck with my girl, send some chick he knows slide in my DMs to see if I bite.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like
you've experienced that before,
nigga. What? But there's some suckers in the bay, bro. Some suckers that like we're literally seeing a chick they know who I ain't never came across in my life. All of a sudden she talkative in my DMs. My girl feed because we on the same page, man. You know, I leave my phone in her car some days, bro. Real shit, and don't sweat a beat. Cause we living right. You know what I'm saying? So she's not, you know, when I see certain things that don't match up, she may see it and be like, oh, that's so chick. That's my ex chick. He had, you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's fine. See, some niggas they need to be punched in the mouth, like, or they need to be checked. Like that's where the bro code comes in, and they need to be taught the bro code.
Nah, this is the thing, but cats is taught these codes and then they manipulate them to their advantage. But like cats, like let's not mistake bro code for principles. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to have principles in order to enforce the bro code.
Right. See,
and a lot of times, cats. You said what?
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just saying a lot of times they have these codes, but ain't got no principles or no morals to stand on.
But see, that's what I'm talking about, right? Like that's exactly it. It's like, what's your foundation about?
Yeah.
And like almost like, oh, who raised you, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You know, and outside of who was in your household, right? Like who you come up around, like who raised you? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing. Like, I'm with you on that. Like people spin it. You know what I'm saying? They try to spin it to make it fit a narrative. To like, listen, man, I'll be the first to tell you, bro. I am the king of justifying shit. The king, right? But there's certain things where I'm not going to waver on. Like I'm not going to waver. You know what I'm saying? But that has to do with my foundation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my moral and my principles and like what I'm built on. Like it's just certain stuff you just can't do. Now, like I'm saying at this age, like if you're 19, 20 years old, like you're still learning life, right? Like that is what it is, right? You're going to learn what you should and shouldn't do. But at our age, nah, man, like I'm not going to allow something superficial, right, come between a relationship of mine, like a brotherhood. Like it's not worth it to me. But my point is, there's some of these people don't have this foundation to stand on, right? So there's no structure. Right. So it's like it can be swayed or motivated by whatever makes sense at that time.
And those are the people that turn into the selfish people because they're just taking advantage of that moment without thinking about the foundation or principles that apply to it.
Yeah, no, they're not thinking about none of that shit. They're thinking about how this will impact them, right?
Mm-hmm. And that's it.
In that moment, right?
Hey, the boxer changed the game, man. They get you know what I mean? Dudes will go above and beyond for a little piece of something. You know what I'm saying?
Niggas will lose their lives and their minds over this shit, man. Just destroy lifelong relationships over that shit. It's crazy.
I've had dudes literally like call and tell blatant lies about me, like absolute blatant lies with it's like, yo, like there's no benefit in you even telling that story. Like she not giving you none, or like it's just it's just the crazy.
And more importantly, it's gonna get back to me. Right. Like
and then what makes it worse is when they do sucking shit, bro. And then you confront them on the sucking shit, and they, oh nah, bro. You know, they buddy and can't even stand on what they said. You know what I mean? So then it kind of makes you as a man of integrity feel like, okay, now I got two decisions. Either I need to keep it moving with this integrity, or I need to respond because you insulting my motherfucking integrity.
There was one time where I legitimately was ready to sacrifice my job, like everything. So this individual was doing some top-notch elite, like all-star level, all-star game MVP hating.
Like SNS, sucking nigga shit.
Right. So I'm on fire. I'm talking about on fire. Now, this person was around in a certain spot every day. In a certain spot every day. For like 3 months. Right. Where if I ever want to talk to him, I knew where I can go. I find out some sucker shit went down. I'm like, oh, it's just a wrap. I take my tie off, like I'm about to walk up to him and it's on site. Oh, it's nothing to talk about. I go to the spot, completely empty. Nobody there. Now, mind you, it was packed every day for like 3 months in a row. The one day I go down there, spot is completely empty. And I was like, that's God.
Divine intervention.
Oh, divine intervention. Let me know it's not worth it. But because some sucker shit had me ready to lose everything.
So when did it become worth it? When do y'all think it becomes worth it? When does it become worth it? Because okay, so one thing I'm starting to struggle with more because I'm starting to try to identify and embrace every aspect of my life, whether it's positive or negative. One of those areas is just the hater shit because everything about my life tells me I'm gonna gather a lot more coming up very soon. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I need to practice within the novice ass niggas I got hating on me now.
You don't have that liberty at that point because once the door opens, you can't feed into the peasantry. You know what I'm saying? You can't let that because you like.
But no, can you like? I'm one of the people who like sometimes you need to feed into that shit just to make sure you in your square.
Okay, so I know. I mean, no disrespect, you Prentice Powell. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect, but like LeBron James, you know how many people hate on that man?
Right. I know, yeah.
For no reason,
and I agree 100%.
They hate on that man for no reason whatsoever. Like, yo, how can you hate? They hate him because he's great. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's exactly what I hate.
He'll post like, shout out to Steph Curry. He did great. And then people are like, yeah, you're a fraud. On Twitter, they call him LaFraud James. It's like, yo, like, get off this man's sack. Like, let him be. Now, if LeBron fed into all that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to pay attention to that.
Prentice, is more them than it is you, brother.
Always. It always. So, but my question was not for my sake. I wasn't asking for my sake, but do you ever think there is a time where the bro code and all that shit, the integrity, whatever you stand on, goes out the window?
So I had a situation, right? And I don't respond to like we had talked about last night. Like, you guys are, as it compares to me and generally speaking, are celebrities, right? Like, I'm just a regular dude. So I'm not active on social media like you guys are. So there's a lot of things that you invite just by your presence, right? Not necessarily anything you say, just your presence, right? So I had a situation. This was like 2016, January 2016 to be exact. And I was going up and beyond for a friend of mine, doing something that like I knew wasn't in my best interest, but I was like, it's not going to cost me anything to do it, to try to help. So let me do it. Right. So I do it. And the whole time I know, I'm like, yo, I shouldn't be doing this. Right. Just because of the individual, right? The individual. So basically what it was is I was forming a relationship between two people that didn't know each other. But I knew it was going to take a lot of time for me to get it there. But I felt it could be mutually beneficial for both of them, right? Based on what they had going on in their lives. But I knew, I'm like, you shouldn't get involved. Boom, fast forward. I do my part. It doesn't work out to the level that it's supposed to work out. And the person that I had questions about, right? That I'm like, if I'm not going to do it, it's going to be because of them. The person I had questions about, they ended up coming back like almost like, mind you, I did this out the kindness of my heart. Like, I didn't have to do anything. They come back like, oh, Bell this, Bell that, Bell think he this, he think he that. Like, but then it got to the point where it was like, all right, now you're talking about my character, right? Like, but now the difference is I knew this person. Like, I knew this person well. And you talking about my character. I'll sum it up with this. You know why you don't need to respond, Prentice? Because what happened to me in that situation, it all came back to me. Everybody told me what happened. And it was only a few people, but they told me what happened. And they was like, bro, when he told me that, I laughed at him. Right? Because I know, right? It was like, I know what it is. Yeah. Because I know you. Right. So I know, like, he's like, I don't care what he had to say. I know what happened just because I know you. And he got that 3 or 4 different times. Right. So that for me was validation that I'm like, nah, I'm built on something. Right. However, because it was so close, I had to address it. Right. I had to address it, which I did. He, of course, backpedaled, but I addressed it. Right. To let him know that I know what you're saying. Right. And this is our last conversation because now it's been acknowledged. Right. But outside of somebody that is in my circle of influence, right? Man, I don't bother with none of that, man, because people, they do stuff for effect, like we talked about yesterday, right? And y'all gonna get it, man. Like y'all active on social media. Y'all going like people find ways to talk shit about us on this show, right?
Oh, bro.
And we trying to do the right thing, right? And just give people an outlet to vent and to understand that they're not alone. You know what I'm saying? So I'll pay no mind, bro. I'll pay no mind at all.
Yeah, I think it gets easier. Like, I don't know how it is for you, Chief, but nowadays when you're focusing on self-control, it really helps put the general population, given what we do, kind of in perspective, bro. And if you utilize also like your environment, the places you put yourself in, which most of us do social media right now because a lot of us can't go nowhere, you can take a lot of those moments and see what other people go through and kind of place yourself in those situations to prepare for it when it happens to you. You know what I mean? But it's all about kind of how we use the things we're exposed to. I've done a way better job now, and I'm liking staying quiet, just not saying nothing at all.
It's different for me, man. Like I have those moments where I do stay quiet, but I'm also I kind of pride myself on being able to say whatever I have to say in a way that is as least offensive as possible, or extremely offensive. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a way of delivering a message to where I can get people to understand what they need to understand without them being totally offended by it. So
yeah, but you know what? One thing for you specifically, Chief, I think sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you give things too much energy, right?
I don't
Like,
disagree with that at all.
yeah, I think you give. I don't think it deserves your energy, the level that you're giving it. You know what I'm saying?
So Pete, lately, the couple situations I can think of in my head, what have I done though?
You called me.
I called you like, yo,
you called me. Yeah.
This is what's going on. Like, am I putting in my? Is this? And you're like, yeah, you too much, and it's over right after that.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%.
So I'm not diving into it. I'm wrecking my own brain about it. It's kind of like, somebody pisses me off. I don't let them know they pissed me off. I'm calling my guy like, yo, should I say something? Because I feel like I should say something. I'm tight right now.
Start. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Nah, you're right. I'm not even gonna do it. So I'm not even.
But you get triggered. You know what I'm saying? And you want to respond.
But that's been my nature for a while, Bill. Like, and this is why I'm gonna say it again. I'm pleased with the growth because you the boy was angry. Like it didn't take much. You know what I'm saying? And now it's kind of like I have enough wherewithal to be like, yo, let me call the homie real quick, ease my nerves real quick, and see whether or not this is where I want to go with it. And so that's just the way to balance me out, man. And I'm very pleased that at least I have that wherewithal now because I didn't always have it.
No, it's just self-awareness. That's all it is.
That's a good point to point out to people, man. Get you a homie you can call up in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Not somebody who's trying to push you, but can at least listen to you and you trust to guide you down a healthy path, man. We always need somebody we can pick up and call when we're going through it right before we make that fucked up decision.
And the craziest part is as great as the greatest the dynamic we have, like whenever we're on the phone, there's always some fuck shit in the beginning anyway. It's never like, yo, my man, what's going on? What the fuck you want, yo? Like it's always something negative, and then it go into.
Yo, I'll give you a perfect example, Prentice. Dude called me the other day, right? Chief called me. I had an interview or something at 5. I had a meeting at 5, or I had a meeting a few minutes later. So I picked up. I was like, yo, what's good? I only got 2 minutes. This motherfucker's response was, fuck you, bitch. I didn't want to speak to you anyway. You called me talking about you only got 2 minutes. What kind of shit is that? I don't even need to talk to you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm like, damn.
Feelings away.
So say what's up first. Say what's up, my nigga. I only got a couple minutes. I answer the phone like, you only got 2 minutes. Talk now. Who are you talking to, yo?
I called them back. I'm like, yo, like later, I'm like, yo, you realize that there's no way I could have handled that could have went any better, right? If I didn't pick up, he would have sent me a text, like, stop sending me a voicemail, like just talking shit. So it's like there was no winning, you know what I'm saying? There was no winning, but that shit was hilarious, yo. It was hilarious.
Hilarious. All right, fella. I think we've got enough, and people can pull something from this. Takeaways, final thoughts, man.
Get you some real friends that honors the bro code.
I'm gonna piggyback right off that, man. The honor and the bro code is whatever y'all agree it is. make sure y'all are on the same page.
But sometimes the bro code is unspoken too, and have a foundation to stand on if you're gonna play by the bro code.
That's chemistry right there, though. The unspoken one is when you got that chemistry, man.
Yeah. Yes. And I feel like the bro code in a lot of cases should be a reflex response, right? Like I feel like it should be a reflex response based on your foundation. But like you said, Prentice, like whatever you guys agree on, right? Whatever that is, I think it should be a reflex response. It shouldn't be something, it's almost like you get activated, right? It shouldn't be something that you got to think about.
Right.
If at any point in the situation makes you question your integrity, then it's definitely, you got to look to the bro code guidelines.
That's it, right?
That's it. I think this cat froze, but it's all good. Yo, that's been another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. Yo, reach out to us at allblackmenneedtherapy@gmail.com. Hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at All Black Men Need Therapy. It's been another one. We're going to keep this train rolling, man. Do us all a favor and hug a black man today and tomorrow. We out.
Peace.